Welcome to Shom Machshava and the Daf Shir sponsor Luinish Sam Yaakov Shalom Le'Abbas Yitzchok. We're holding Metzia Daf Nun Aleph. The Gemara in Beis says that Rav Amnon explains the name of Shmuel. Someone says, "I'm doing with you a deal in the condition that there's no or no," so then that's fine. What's the difference between the case that he says, "I'm not she'ein lecho alai no," and not she'ein boy no? So Rashi says it's talking about two opposite cases. Al minat she'ein lecha alai no means that there will be no dine or no over here that will not be obligated to pay you the difference. Al minat she'ein boy no means that there will not be any problem of no, that this money will be pure and okay. So that's why if there's a no, of course you have to pay it back. But Tosfos brings the name of Rabbeinu Shmuel, what we find in other places in Shas when we speak about this case. The Almanat Shein Boi No means that the Isser or No will not be Chal over here. That you won't have the Isser the Torah. So it says, Tosfos, according to Rabbeinu Shmuel, one cannot say you won't have the Isser or No. And you can't go against the Torah. The Torah says there's or No. You could say that the No will not apply to me. But to say that in reality it won't be No, that's something you can't do. Now the question is, why is Rashi not explained like Tosfos? This seems to be the simple understanding, and that's how it's brought down another place in Shas. For example, when we say, Al Menat Shelo Tishveteu Shvis, that's the example that Tosfos brings. But l'chura, this brings us to the understanding of what is the definition of a no. The Gemara here in this Omo tells us that there's a difference between a person who does a no b'stam, or he does a no b'mefarish. So some of the Rishonim explain, what's the difference between stam and mefarish? Mefarish means that he says specifically, I'm going to sell you this item for 200 while it's worth only 100. As the Gemara goes on, it explains, literally, these are the words that he's saying. But if he just says, I'm going to give you something you should know, there's a no here, but he doesn't say how much money it is, so then it doesn't work. What's the difference? So the way some bring it, this is brought down in the Sefer HaTshumas in the name of the Ramban. The Ramban says, what do you mean? Every time there's a no, people know that their seller's trying to overcharge as much as he can. And the seller knows that the buyer is trying to underpay as much as he can. That's the nature of business. So what do you mean? If mefarish means that a person knows that his friend is trying to do a no, that applies to every single mekach or memkar. So Karchacho, the Mefarish, is different because you're talking about that he says specifically the amount. And why that should be different? So explains the Nesivis, and many of the Rishonim based on the Nesivis, is similar to the Nesivis, that the idea is that if you're just saying, I'm doing a regular Mekach Memkar, I'm doing a purchase, the Torah says you cannot sell something if you're selling it for the right value, what the true value of this item is, you can't change the value. But if a person is telling his friend, this item, the value is 100, but I'm not selling it for 100, I'm selling it for 200. We're not selling it now for the right value. I'm clearly putting it into numbers, saying this is not the value. So then this goes out from the Parsha of no, and then it's mutter. So meaning what we're learning from the Ramban and the way it comes out from the Nesivis, the idea of no of the Torah, when the Torah says don't do no, means it doesn't matter that the buyer figures out that the seller is overcharging him. The point is that when something is sold in the market based on its value, you should not change its price. You should sell it for fair market value. Regardless if the buyer or the seller knows of that there's something you're different, you should sell it for fair market value unless you take it out from the realm of regular sale and saying this is a different thing, this is not part of a regular mekach or memkar based on the market value. But Rashi clearly disagrees with that. First of all, the mashmos of Rashi here in the Talmud is that mefarish is even without saying an exact amount. Just telling him, the seller tells the buyer, I'm overcharging you. And it's clearly in Rashi and Amud Aleph. Because Rashi there explains when you buy from Balabais, or buy from someone who owns a chayfetz, then it's considered to be like mefarish sheyesh bo no. And there we're not talking about this giving a specific amount. You just know that when someone sells his own chayfetz, so it's mefarish sheyesh bo no, as if you know that he's overcharging. So according to Rashi, as long as the buyer knows that something is going on over here, there's no issue over no. So seemingly Rashi learns that no means something else, similar to what the Chinuch says. The Chinuch says that Hona'as means ramos. Hona'as means that you're going and you're tricking the buyer. And that's the mashmos of the pasuk of Parshas Behar. Because it says that al toinu ish es ochiv, and later it says v'loy soinu ish es hamisoy. So Rashi explains what's the two loy soinu, as we're going to see later in the Gemara. There's Hona'as devarim, that's the second pasuk, and then there's Hona'as Mamon. Hona'as devarim, the Gemara is going to speak about later, is talking about someone who goes and annoys and upsets his friend. Hona'as Mamon means that a person goes and overcharges for a chayfetz, or underpays for a chayfetz. So Rashi learns it's the same idea. The same way Hona'as devarim means you're going and causing some tsar, some pain to your friend. You basically do something wrong to him. So also by Hona'as Mamon is the same thing. A person is going and causing a ramos, like the Chinuch says. He's tricking his friend, causing him therefore tsar. So he immediately learns Rashi, as long as the buyer knows that he's being overcharged, he doesn't know the exact specifics, but he knows I'm being overcharged in this case. So then you don't have that side, you don't have that tricking anymore. You don't have the problem the Chinuch mentions. So immediately Rashi argues in Taisis. Rashi says, a person says, I'm not she'ein boy no. According to Rashi, then there's no issue. Hona'as is only as long as one is tricking the other. But if one is very clear and tells somebody else, I'm going to do Hona'as over here, there's no issue of Hona'as. So Rashi is forced to say, I'm not she'ein boy no, means that there's no problem of Hona'as, because everything here is glatt. So it comes out, there's two ways how to understand what is the issue of Hona'as Mamon. Is it a problem just changing the market value, even if the person knows that there's some change? Or the issue is the fact that you're causing tsar to your friend by causing him ramos, by tricking him. This seems to be the machlokes Rishonim in this sugya. Anyone who wants to join the Shomachshava email list to WhatsApp group, please email shomachshava@gmail.com.